One of the most exciting pieces of news since the announcement of Doctor Doom joining the MCU has been the confirmation of 7 X-Men characters appearing in Avengers Doomsday. Although we have seen 3 of these characters before in the MCU, it's still unclear whether the Doomsday X-Men characters will be these same variants. Patrick Stewart will return as Professor X in the 2026 movie. We've seen him in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness as a member of the Illuminati. That variant died at the hands of the Scarlet Witch, so we're pretty sure that's not the same Charles Xavier coming in Doomsday. Kelsey Grammer will return as Beast. We've seen him in the post-credits scene of the 2023 movie The Marvels. That's probably the same X-Men universe that will collide with the main timeline in Doomsday. Hold that thought, we'll come back to it. Channing Tatum will also return as Gambit. He first played the character in Deadpool and Wolverine, unlike Kelsey Grammer and Patrick Stewart, who were in the Fox X-Men movies. In addition to Beast, Professor X, and Gambit, we'll see Magneto, played by Ian McKellen, Cyclops, played by James Marsden, Mystique, played by Rebecca Romijn, and Nightcrawler, played by Alan Cumming. We've seen most of this X-Men cast in the 2000 X-Men movies, except for Channing Tatum. He came close to playing Gambit in X-Men 3 before that character was ultimately written out of the movie, and he was a favorite to star in a solo Gambit movie that Fox began to develop, but ultimately never made. Tatum finally got to play the mutant in Deadpool and Wolverine, but it's most likely that the Doomsday Gambit will be another variant. We still don't know much about the plot of Avengers Doomsday, but small pieces of information have been shared every now and then. For instance, Alan Cumming said during an interview with BuzzFeed UK that Nightcrawler has a fight scene with Mr. Fantastic. When discussing reprising the role of Kurt Wagner, he commented on shooting a scene where he's hitting Pedro Pascal against the head. As fans expected, it seems like the X-Men will fight the Fantastic Four in Battleworld. In Jonathan Hickman's 2015 run of Secret Wars, universes collide and are merged into one planet where they become into conflict. With the Fantastic Four traveling the multiverse and arriving at Earth 616, as we've seen in the post-credits scene of Thunderbolts, we can expect Avengers Doomsday to bring a final incursion between Earth 616 and some other universe. That's not the Fantastic Fours. That final incursion will probably be between the main Marvel universe and the universe where the MCU X-Men will be from. We still don't know what exactly will be Franklin Richards' role in this event in the MCU, but the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm is a key character in the 2015 Secret Wars event in Marvel Comics. Franklin is expected to even join the X-Men at some point, since we're soon getting the Mutant Saga, and he's just now being introduced into the franchise. It's safe to assume that, despite Reed fighting Kurt, his son will be a friend to the X-Men, just like in the comics. Now, back to the Doomsday casting, we expect more X-Men actors to be announced soon. Before we find out which exactly is the universe they'll come from, it's impossible to tell if they will be other actors from Fox movies or new faces. According to a report by the Insider, Marvel Studios has been considering Sadie Sink for the role of Jean Grey and Julia Butters for Kitty Pryde. While who will really play these two is still a mystery, we can rest assured both characters will be around for the Mutant Saga. What we do know is that there are mutants in the MCU already. In the Ms. Marvel series, it was confirmed that Kamala Khan is a mutant. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, has also confirmed that Namor is a mutant. Mr. Immortal and Ella Gila, who appeared in She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, are also confirmed mutants. Of course, Wade Wilson is also a mutant. And in Deadpool and Wolverine, we've seen many others. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Shatterstar, Colossus, Gambit, X-23, and obviously Wolverine. We think that most of these X-Men characters will only return as variants in the future, but the Wolverine variant that teamed up with Deadpool might remain in the franchise. Other characters from the X-Men are also confirmed to appear at some point in the MCU's future, although the actors playing them or the project they will debut on are still secret. Still, the mutants already in the MCU will provide interesting story arcs as they become aware of and possibly team up with the X-Men as they arrive in the MCU in the future. Now, circling back to the mystery of which universe the Doomsday X-Men come from, let's analyze the most plausible theories. Most fans agree it only makes sense to introduce the X-Men during the Secret Wars event, or right before, in an adaptation of Time Runs Out. At the same time, that only works if these characters come from a universe where the team itself has been established for a long time. This hasn't been confirmed yet, but there's a strong theory that the MCU X-Men come from the universe seen in the Marvel's post-credits scene. However, which universe that is exactly is another question. Some fans think it is Earth 10,005, when Monica Rambeau bought the world some time by repairing the tear in the fabric of space-time set to cause an incursion. She got teleported and stuck in another universe. There, she met not only Hank McCoy, the X-Men's Beast, but also a Maria Rambeau variant that is the X-Men's binary. To have Monica Rambeau back for Doomsday, the X-Men in the movie will probably come from that universe and bring her with them. She hasn't been announced yet to appear in the film, but the creation of Battleworld is perhaps the only way to bring the character back at this point. It makes sense to consider she'll be in it, along with that Beast and that binary we saw with her. These X-Men could be from a past timeline of the same universe as Deadpool, Earth 10,005, but it's impossible to be sure at the moment. The Fox X-Men films and the Deadpool films all take place in the same universe, but the official MCU X-Men could also come from an entirely new dimension that we haven't yet seen much of or at all. Making them come from a universe we haven't seen yet would be interesting because it would really allow Marvel Studios to start fresh after the Secret Wars soft reboot. If the Doomsday X-Men come from Earth 10,005, where the Fox movies took place, then these characters will carry all that narrative baggage from their previous appearances. In Deadpool and Wolverine, we've seen how the X-Men variants can be found in several different timelines. So the groundwork has been laid for an MCU-only X-Men universe. If this theory is correct, Gambit will be another variant in Doomsday, and not the one we've seen in Deadpool and Wolverine. The same goes for Professor X. Meanwhile, Beast and Binary will be the same variant seen in the Marvels. After Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, the first X-Men movie within the MCU is expected to be released sometime between mid-2027 and late 2028. Marvel Studios has announced 2 untitled film release dates in July and November 2027. There's a very strong possibility that those 2 untitled slots in 2027 are for X-Men movies. Avengers Secret Wars is set to be released in May 2027. It would make sense to kick off the mutant saga immediately after the crossover event that reboots the multiverse. If Avengers Secret Wars ends similarly to the 2015 comics event, Franklin Richards will warp reality to create a brand new multiverse with a brand new Earth 616. This cosmos would have its history rewritten, yet there is also the possibility that Marvel Studios will extend the aftermath of Secret Wars in other 2027 projects, leaving the mutant saga for 2028. It would make sense for the MCU to have a sequel to the 2025 Fantastic Four movie coming soon, for example, especially with Franklin Richards being the key character in the creation of the 8th Cosmos and Earth 616 from what remains of Battleworld. We could also get a Ms. Marvel movie or a Young Avengers movie already set in this newly made multiverse. It could establish Kamala Khan as an important mutant leader before the franchise goes deeper into the X-Men. With the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, one of these slots could also be reserved for another Deadpool movie. According to Cinema Blend, Ryan Reynolds is developing a new project that would team Deadpool with several X-Men characters, potentially serving as a bridge between the legacy X-Men films and the MCU's future. Either way, the latest news about the upcoming X-Men movies allow us to speculate a little bit about what those movies will look like. According to Deadline, Thunderbolts' director Jake Schreier is at the top of the list to direct at least one X-Men project, most likely the first X-Men movie. Ryan Coogler, the Black Panther director who just released his latest original movie, Sinners, has also been reportedly considered to direct something in the upcoming saga. Deadline has reported that Michael Leslie, who worked on the script for The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, has been hired to write the first X-Men film. And as we've known for a little longer now, Kevin Feige has confirmed that Marvel Studios has outlined a 10-year plan for integrating mutant characters into the MCU. So Marvel is potentially talking to the directors of several projects early on to hire the best and to already plan a busy 10-year schedule ahead. Feige has also confirmed that Marvel Studios has initiated early development for a new X-Men film in which fans will see characters they are familiar with, but also some characters never before seen in any movie movie adaptations. So, who could these new characters be? While no specific characters have been officially confirmed, fans and insiders have been speculating about the potential involvement of Mr. Sinister, a long-demanded villain. Given Marvel's recent interest in morally complex antagonists, Mr. Sinister could become an important villain. He's a character who claims his actions are aimed at mutant evolution, the betterment of the species, but his methods are excessive and questionable. It's also important to note that even the X-Men characters appearing as early as Doomsday may not be the ones that will stick around for the mutant saga. Secret Wars just might introduce variants to these same characters, played by different actors, who would survive Battleworld and be the official MCU X-Men in the following saga. Although this would be an MCU-only plot twist, it would be a cool way to allow fans to see the original movie X-Men one more time while meeting their new counterparts. Marvel has also confirmed the continuation of the animated series X-Men 97, which has been renewed for a second season. While not directly connected to the MCU, the show's popularity is helping to reintroduce the X-Men to younger audiences. Kevin Feige has stated that Marvel considers the animated series part of the larger storytelling tapestry, fueling speculation that elements of it may influence future live-action adaptations. Another confirmed detail is Marvel's intention to blend genres in the new X-Men films. Feige has stated that the tone will be updated to reflect modern superhero storytelling, with more grounded world building, more emotional stakes, and politically relevant themes. With that in mind, it makes a lot of sense to hire Jake Schreier to direct. In Thunderbolts, the director managed to make characters who were considered less interesting and important into heroes who fans actually care about. One of the biggest challenges of making a good X-Men movie is that there are so many team members, some are bound to be a little forgotten in the storytelling. That's why Jake Schreier is a great choice. Thunderbolts really allows for each team member to shine. Of course, Yelena Belova is the main character in that movie, but Bucky, Alexei, John, and Ava all have their fair share of importance. Bob, and all the complexity behind the Sentry and the Void, is also handled well by the director. Another reason for his hiring is the need to tell stories about new X-Men characters. As Feige said, there will be both known and new faces in the mutant saga. Wolverine, for example, is a character overused in live-action X-Men, so the first X-Men movie in the mutant saga won't be a Wolverine film. Instead, Marvel will most likely tell the origin story of someone new to live-action adaptations. As we've mentioned before, a villain like Mr. Sinister could be on the horizon. Mr. Sinister is one of 3 clones that Nathaniel Essex made of himself, along with Dr. Stasis and Orbis Stellaris. His origin story could be told with the inclusion of the real Nathaniel Essex, a brilliant Victorian-era scientist who predicted the rise of mutants in the future. Mr. Sinister, despite being a clone, holds all the memories of the original Nathaniel Essex and believes that he is him. Such a movie could also introduce the MCU's version of another mutant who's important in Essex's story, Apocalypse. An ancient Egyptian mutant warrior, Apocalypse is the firstborn of the second generation of mutant kind. He's part of a rare subspecies of immortal mutants called Externals. Funny enough, Oscar Isaac played Apocalypse in the 2016 movie X-Men Apocalypse. He's now Moon Knight in the MCU, who also has a connection to ancient Egypt, so someone else would play the powerful villain. That's another reason for recasting the X-Men characters completely for the mutant saga. Jake Schreier has proven his ability to tell emotionally charged stories about complex characters like Bob and Thunderbolts, while also keeping the tone light and fun. Even if the first X-Men movie is a team-up story, where Mr. Sinister is the antagonist, instead of it being an origin story movie all about the villain, Jake Schreier can probably still handle him and Apocalypse well. Something else the director would bring to the table is his preference for practical effects and stunts instead of computer-generated effects. With him on board, the first X-Men movie will probably have grounded fight scenes and mesmerizing practical effects, like cars flipping on a road and actors jumping off buildings. Since Deadpool and Wolverine, Marvel knows that putting X-Men characters in comedy movies can work. Schreier has experience in comedy, having made the hilarious series Beef, for example. In Thunderbolts, he managed to balance comedy, drama, and action really well. For the first time, we may see an X-Men movie that has strong comedy elements, not like in Deadpool and Wolverine, where they are in a Deadpool story, but in an actual X-Men story. Marvel has a long history of preferring in-house crew, and never puts important projects in the hands of newcomers. Marvel hiring someone who has never worked in a Marvel movie before to direct the first MCU X-Men movie is very unlikely. Considering the positive reception of Thunderbolts, The odds are definitely in Schreier's favor for this hiring. According to Deadline, Schreier has cleared his schedule with the X-Men movie in mind. Sources say he has begun turning down jobs, which proves he knows he's probably getting this one. For now, we need to wait for further news on the Mutants saga, but we can debate what we would like to see.
Okay, they can't just dust off one of the famous X-Men. How about that Potts with the giant pigeon wings?
We want to hear from you. What should the first MCU X-Men movie be about? Who should direct? And what characters should be in it? Let us know your opinions in the comments below, and remember to subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching CBR.